All right, guys, so we're going to be talking about the Teal War Orbs here that were just released in Marvel Strike Force. Going to give my overall thoughts to why I believe that this is too little, too late, if you ask me. On the other hand, though, there are a certain group of players that will actually benefit from it. So I will be talking about that here in today's video as well. I'm going to be going through an analysis of the orb, how I think it matches up in regards to our expectations and what we actually need here in Marvel Strike Force. So let's actually dive right into it. The purpose of this orb in the first place was supposed to alleviate a bottleneck, right? Like ultimately that was the goal, was for this to alleviate a bottleneck. Unfortunately, it kind of barely does that, if you ask me. Now, G16s, in my opinion, aren't a major issue for most endgame players anymore. I know that there's some that do need it, and trust me, I'll get to you here in this video as well, but let's take a look at just some of the concepts. Let's go to the left pillar here, and you got 25% chance to land this catalyst. Okay, that's fine. The augmented ABC or whatever, that's good. Then you have this gear drop here, which are the hero unique. So this is a major bottleneck right now, whether you're going to G16 or going to G17 and probably maybe going to gear tier 18. This is going to be a big bottleneck for you here. And this only gives you a 25% chance of being able to land one of these pieces. If you're looking at your gamma team, you need a crap ton of gamma radiation. And you can see like where my numbers are for some of these, right? I don't remember. Well, I've only used Focus Chi on one character, yet I only have 31, 23 here on the Gamma. That I only have 18 pieces on 58 of that, right? And I'm opening up my Teal Gear raid orbs often to try to land gear, but for some of these, I'm just using too much and I'm not really getting a lot back. And only giving a 25% chance to only land one piece, in my opinion, just doesn't cut it. I'm not quite sure how they felt, how they calculated the numbers and said 25% chance to land one of these pieces is good. If you're gonna give a 25% chance to land this piece, you at least gotta give 3, right? At least gotta give 3 of, if it does land, at least give it a guarantee of a 3 drop, but only give it a guarantee of 1 drop here, in my opinion, is pure trash, if you ask me. And then you do have certain things like catalyst. So we just took a look at this here. You get the AB's augmented basic catalyst parts here. And then this is some origin gear. We can probably talk about that here in this video. If we go to the right side, you have these catalysts that are here. And let's keep it real, boo-boo. Armor catalyst is not really a bottleneck, right? Usually the ones that typically tend to be a bottleneck. Damage, not so much, but it's usually the focus ones. It's usually the health catalysts. Like these are probably the bigger ones that are going to be in more demand. Now, I just am being very careful with who I bring up. So I guess I have a little bit more and I expected, but I know there's a lot of players who, and as we see, this is typically how they do it. This becomes a bottleneck pretty fast. It happened with the orange gear. It's probably going to happen with the teal gear as well. I would say that you probably could have dropped something like the armor catalyst and given a little bit more of a boost on something like the focus catalyst, something like the health catalyst, the damage catalyst, and like the same thing with the resistance. The resistance and the armor, a lot of players need those. They really could have given a boost to some of these other pieces of gear, but then once again, it's a 50% chance for it to drop. You're going back to origin gear here again. I think that this number should have been high, or at least guaranteeing that you're gonna get that drop, because a lot of players could get origin gear from other places, maybe just replacing this completely and entirely, and only to give a guarantee, well, I guess it's 10. You can get 10 pieces of this. A lot of players are going to need more of that. In my opinion, you're just not landing enough of this piece for you to really want to open up this orb. And then there are no mini uniques, or actually, forgive me, there are some mini uniques here. There are mini uniques that are right in the middle, forgive me, but you only get a guarantee of one of these pieces. And do they know that you need 36 of each piece for a character to bring them up from? Okay, I said 36. There's 36, there's 54, 72, and then there's 90, right? That's what players, the characters need in order to be able to get up to G16. Do they know that? So opening up this orb, one orb, to then get a guarantee of one of these pieces is just not good enough. Once again, maybe 4 or 5 should be the guarantee of a drop here, considering that you could get random pieces of all of these. I just don't think that they really evaluated the number in regards to what players actually needed from this orb in order to be able to make this work. And it's really kind of unfortunate because we're getting these uniques, and of course, like the ones that are really in high demand are the mutant ones, right? Because we're They doubled down on 2 mutant teams, Unlimited X-Men, you got your Dead Sea team. So really the heavier sort of portion of what you need are going to be the mutant pieces, but they're going to release probably another slew of teams that you're going to need for X, and they could double down on some more teams there as well. So in my personal opinion, they just did not evaluate the quantity of what players needed from these orbs in order for it to be valuable. And what makes this sad is that they told us this was going to happen months ago, right? That we're going to be getting these Teal War Orbs at the end of, or towards the end of last year in their blog post. And then for them to wait until this point in time to actually release this, I think that they definitely missed the mark. Gear tier 17s would have been a higher value for players. And I thought that was something that they were going to do, was give us some gear tier 17s. A lot of players, I know for me, I pretty much basically just bank on this resource here, and I'm only grabbing these pieces, right? The G17s, that's what I'm grabbing. I don't really even use my Cosmic Crucible currency for things like even this, because I'm just like, I'll take my chances in the supply store, because right now these G17s, there's really only way for me to be able to get it, and I have to prioritize certain specific ones. Right now I'm not even grabbing the skill ones or grabbing what's the other piece? Oh my goodness, the tech ones. I'm not really grabbing those right now. It's primarily Mystic, Mutant, absolutely for sure, and then whatever the other one, Bio, is what I'm grabbing here. So the G17s would have needed to have been a piece that they would have added to this Teal War Orb, and they didn't even give it that thought. So for me to go and open up and use these credits right here, it really has to be much better than that. And I know that a lot of players are feeling the same way. Most endgame players, they have these G16s fairly easily. The currency is not really hard for them to get. The G17 bottleneck is definitely going to be higher value because of, especially gear tier 18 coming. There's going to be an abundance of need, you know, for that. And this, I actually wanted to share a post that I got from a player in my Discord that kind of summarized a lot of what I just said here. Was, you know, can they redesign the Teal War Orb and make it worse? Shout out to for him for making this post. I believe he's being a little sarcastic here, because I'm not sure that they could, right? And I'll turn my camera off and make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it here. But this is what he said. There are uniques for each character, miasma, quantum energy, etc. No reliable way to farm anywhere. They are a bottleneck. Catalyst. Focus catalysts are a bottleneck. Maybe health catalysts, but not all catalysts are equal. And they know this. Trait dependent basic teal stuff. So for mutant, Splice XG, cytoplasm, metabolic enhancers, due to 2 horseman teams and being mutant, that one is in higher demand. Absolutely agree with that. Gear 16 uniques. So once again, all the stuff I'm talking about, right? Gear tier 17 uniques, limited to raid elite orb, gold store, and 1 slot in the CC store. This war orb solves none of those bottlenecks. And then he mentioned that here as well. If the goal of the orb is to help with gear 16 uniques, then it should reward more, not 1. If the goal is to help with mini uniques, then one side should have always rewarded some, not 1. Not 25% chance. If the goal is to reward catalyst, then remove armor catalyst and give a higher drop for the focus one. If the goal is the trait, and it really should generate the trait needed, like the purple orbs in Blitz, and reward more than 6. I don't see any lies here in this mention and in this post here. I completely agree with this player here, and I think that this is something that they absolutely need to take a look at here. Now, in regards to the players that will benefit from this, if you're a newer player and you're not super duper end game, most likely you're going to benefit from this, right? Because it's going to give you a faster track for you to be able to get a character like Apocalypse, for instance. So if you're worried about G16, you don't have enough G16 gear to be able to get, you know, to build up your horseman team, then this will help for you, because you're not getting enough of it anyways. So now you can use your elite war credits and you can open them up in the store and do it. You also have easier access now to Dark Dimension than you did before. Maybe Dark Dimension 5 is not as much of a hassle still need to do it, but it's not as much of a hassle to try to do it now that you have the Teal Warrior. But granted, barring that you're getting enough elite credits from your Alliance War and you've been hoarding that currency anyways, of course, with Dark Dimension, I'll probably prioritize your Apocalypse characters that you do need if you can, and then trickle in some of the characters that are important for your roster as you move on along here. But what are your thoughts, guys, on this Teal War Orb? Does it move the needle for you? Like I said, I think it's too little too late. You should have released it at the end of last year when you made your post and made your announcement. Right now, this definitely does not hit the mark if you ask me. Like and subscribe for more to the channel here, guys. Hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. Check out the links and stuff in our description here where you can connect with me outside of the YouTube channel. Streaming I do on Twitch on Tuesday nights, and then on Thursday nights I stream on YouTube here. So looking forward to catching you guys then. All right, guys, until next time, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.